If an average Ice Age Neanderthal stepped into a modern gym, their raw grip strength and lifting capacity would shatter records set by elite Olympic powerlifters without a single day of formal training. For decades, popular science painted our evolutionary cousins as primitive, slouching brutes who were easily outsmarted and driven to extinction by superior modern humans. But groundbreaking osteological data and stable isotope analyses have completely destroyed that narrative. The hard scientific truth is far more humbling. Neanderthals were not inferior stepchildren of evolution. They were apex biological tanks, physically engineered to dominate the most brutal environments in Earth's history. How did a species so overwhelmingly powerful, capable of snapping modern human bones like twigs, vanish from the fossil record? Today, we are stripping away the myths and examining the raw paleoanthropological evidence behind the strongest humanity that ever lived. Over the course of this breakdown, you will discover 3 biological secrets locked inside their skeletal remains. The anatomical muscle armor that gave them superhuman strength, the disturbing fracture patterns that reveal their violent hunting tactics, and the massive 5,000-calorie metabolic engine that made them Ice Age hyper-predators. Prepare to see Neanderthals in a completely new light. When bioarchaeologists analyze Neanderthal skeletal remains, the first thing that shocks them is the sheer density of the bone. Osteological cross-sections reveal limb bones with cortical walls up to 50% thicker than those of modern humans. This reinforced skeletal architecture was engineered to support an estimated 30 to 40% more muscle mass on a shorter, wider frame. Their collarbones and upper arm bones feature massive, deeply grooved muscle attachment points, proving extraordinary upper body strength that modern humans simply cannot replicate. Instead of our flat rib cages, Neanderthals possessed distinct bell-shaped barrel chests. This specialized cavity housed enlarged lungs and an oversized liver, strictly required to process high-protein diets and oxygenate massive muscle groups in sub-zero air. They were built for pure power. But carrying this immense biological armor required a fighting style so violent, it left a permanent, terrifying scar on their fossil record. Fossil surveys of Neanderthal skeletons reveal a severe, highly specific pattern of bone fractures. Unlike modern persistence hunters who relied on distance, Neanderthal injuries are heavily concentrated in the head, neck, shoulders, and arms, with virtually zero lower body trauma. When paleoanthropologists fed this injury distribution into clinical medical databases, it correlated statistically with only one profession on Earth: professional rodeo bull riders. This behavioral evidence proves Neanderthals did not hunt from a safe distance using throwing projectiles. Instead, they engaged 2-ton Ice Age beasts in close quarters, thrusting spear ambush combat. They literally wrestled woolly rhinos and mammoths to the ground. Surviving these high-impact collisions required a biological resilience and skeletal density that would fatally shatter a modern Homo sapiens frame upon impact. Yet surviving these gladiatorial battles was only half the struggle. Fueling this massive physique demanded a metabolic furnace unlike anything seen in human history. To power their dense muscular frames in sub-zero temperatures, an active adult male Neanderthal required between 4,500 and 5,000 calories every single day. This is roughly double the daily metabolic demand of a modern human. Stable isotope analysis of Neanderthal bone collagen consistently places them at the absolute apex of the Ice Age trophic chain, ranking higher than spotted hyenas, cave lions, and wolves.
Chemical dietary signatures prove their intake consisted of 80 to 90% terrestrial meat, harvested primarily from woolly mammoths, straight-tusked elephants, and rhinos. They functioned as biological hyper-engines, trading caloric efficiency for extreme physical dominance. But this metabolic super-engine was also their fatal vulnerability. When the climate shifted and megafauna populations collapsed, their 5,000-calorie requirement became unsustainable. But before we attribute their extinction purely to brawn over brains, there is one final, shocking revelation buried inside their skulls. The ultimate myth of the Neanderthal is that they were unintelligent brutes, but cranial measurements reveal their average brain volume was 1,500 cubic centimeters, significantly larger than our modern human average of 1,350. Furthermore, three-dimensional biomechanical scans show their dominant arm possessed 60% greater torsional strength, driven by decades of precision.
Levallois stone napping. Their enlarged occipital and parietal lobes were heavily dedicated to visual spatial processing and fine-tuned motor control. They did not lose to us in intelligence, they were simply outlasted by our caloric efficiency. Neanderthals were the absolute pinnacle of human physical strength, an evolutionary masterpiece of muscle, bone, and brain power, engineered for a freezing world that no longer exists. Their legacy lives on in our DNA, reminding us of the diverse biological paths humanity once walked. If you want to uncover more hidden truths about human evolution and ancient history, hit that subscribe button now so you never miss our next deep dive.